Hi, welcome to Pauline Interviews. I've been gone for a couple of years, but I'm coming back with a really wonderful topic. Um, it's about alternative healing, which is one of my passions. And I'm here with Elizabeth. Elizabeth, welcome to my program. I'm so happy that you agreed to interview with me because I think some wonderful things happen here.
Yeah, thank you.
First, I want to ask you, how did you get started in this work?
It started after my daughter died of heart failure from experiencing leukemia, and we learned about Royal Raymond Drive, and the heart failure still happened even though she was cured of leukemia.
Did the leukemia give her heart failure, or
No, the leukemia treatments,
so the treatments caused her death?
possibly.
Possibly.
Mhm.
Okay. And before we get into what you have going on here, you mentioned Royal Raymond Rife. Tell us a little bit about him, and you don't have to go too far into it. People can look him up, but you know a little bit about him. So tell us what you know.
Yes, so he was an inventor from the 30s, and he learned that when he ran certain frequencies, first of all, he made a microscope that was made with refractory light. It had nothing, so he could have a live bacteria or a live cell. And then he'd discover what frequency would annihilate that. And he also invented many other things with engines and airplanes and ball bearings. And he's a very interesting man to research the history of.
Now, I can understand his theory somewhat because we're all electrical and we're energy, so he's using these energy, different vibrations, so I can kind of understand how that works. It's very interesting, right?
Yes, the way I see it, the way I see it working is we have a lot of vibrational frequencies that sound like musical notes if we were to play them. And those different notes will help with different situations. Like sometimes we need a resonant frequency to bring up our energy or to help our body be well and be in health. And music can do that, just listening to music and the rhythms and all of that are all included in that. But Royal Raymond Rife used light waves and radio waves to direct it to the person to help them to recover from their problem.
And how did you start getting involved? Had you studied this?
No, Chelsea was dying. She had a hospice had just told me she had days to live, if that, and it was July 1st. And that same day, that was back in '99, and that was not when the internet was even roaring very much back then. It was dial-up, and I saw something about Royal Raymond Drive in Canada, and they were using that as a treatment for cancer back in '99. And so I called this number, and they said, well, there is someone in the United States doing it. And they said, well, he's in Alabama. So I said, okay, give me the number. So I called the guy in Alabama. And then he said, well, I just sold one to McMinnville, Oregon, so I will call and see if they'll let you come over and use their machine. So we did. And Chelsea got well really fast. By July 4th, she was outside with sparklers, and she kept on getting better. In a month's time, we took her into the hospital to have her blood tested, and she did not show any sign of leukemia.
Thank you for sharing about your daughter. And how long did the treatment last?
Well, it was just sitting under these lights that were running these frequencies, and we did it probably every day. And it was a long time ago, 19 years ago now, remembering all of that. But well, it was very obvious she did not have leukemia anymore. And so a month later, I was able to get $6,000 together to buy our own machine. And 3 days after that, she had heart trouble, so we took her to the hospital, and she passed.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's too bad you didn't have that, but how would you know? So from this interview, what I'm getting to, and I want to express to the people that are watching, is that you can't always just go to someone and expect them to heal you. It's important for us to be your own advocate, to research and look into things and to help ourselves.
I'm very invested in my health. I love being well, and that's what has given me a bounty of wellness here.
And you're sharing it now with other people.
Yeah, I share it.
Elizabeth, how long have you had your place open? How long have you been doing this?
Since Chelsea passed. At the time, we had an auto
19
repair.
years then?
Yes, we had an auto repair, and there were several of the customers that had cancer, and they asked to use Chelsea's light. And so I said, okay. So I started sharing it, and they all had miraculous situations happen. And so then people started finding out. It was not advertised. I do not advertise.
So we're doing this. This is going to advertise a little bit. So you're really
Well, and
not
again,
looking-
well, I'd be more advertising and for other people to carry this cross and do this work.
Yeah.
That's what I'd love to find.
So-
I could not possibly take care of people here alone. I believe that we need to have little communities where little towns, they share this love, share this kindness, and share this opportunity.
I'm so amazed that you had such a tragedy that your heart opened rather than be upset about it and really bitter. You opened up your heart to help other people. That's amazing. That's wonderful.
It's easy.
It's easy.
It's
Wow.
easy.
Wow.
It's just easy. I love everybody.
Oh.
You're just the same as Chelsea as I am. We are all one, all humankind. We're all God's children, and we all deserve an opportunity to experience life at its best.
Have you always felt that way?
Always.
Really?
Uh-huh.
That's interesting. There's a lot going on here. I mean, I came in and I was talking to one of your clients here and go, what are you doing? And then somebody else is laying on a bed over here with something over them. So could you tell us a little bit about besides the Royal Raymond Rife, he has an unusual name.
He does. RRR.
RRR. Besides the machine that you got, you obviously went in and where'd you find these other things?
I began investigating, questioning, and looking and seeking, and it's all out there. There's tons of information, and just like a manufacturer of a vehicle, there's VWs running down the street, there's Toyotas, Nissans, it's the same. There's many different people building these Rife devices.
In the United States?
In the United States and all over, because they've realized there's been an awakening of these frequencies, because they really do. Well, you can decide if they do or don't.
Well, right. It's up to you, the person, to decide if it's helping them.
That's right.
Some people it may help, and some maybe not. But if your body will tell you, won't it? If it's
I'm here for people who want to experience want that experience, because you just can't find these things just anywhere. They're not any.
So Elizabeth, when Phil and I came in, there was a man sitting over the corner, and he was hooked up to some kind of magnets. Can you tell us a little bit about that machine?
That is really interesting study and research. There's even a bed called a Beamer, and I don't have one here, but it's also based on that
Sounds
same
like a car.
technology. I know everyone goes, want a Beamer? It's like, no, it's a mat to make you very healthy. But it's made in some little tiny place in Europe. Look, Liechtenstein or
Liechtenstein,
yes,
a tiny place.
That's exactly. I think that's where it's headquarters. But they are also working with NASA in some of this kind of concepts that I have in here, and they're using that same concept because it helps the capillaries and the blood and the body to be at its healthiest. The rope, I call it the rope, pulsed electromagnetic PEMF, I'm not sure, frequency. And they use it on race horses because the race horses make a lot of money, and if they're down and hurt and they can't race, and their muscles or their bones or their tendons are affected, they rope up the horse.
Yeah, the gentleman was telling me he had really bad muscles and tendonitis, and that magnet was really helping him. That's wonderful. That's terrific. And then when we first came in, somebody was soaking their feet in your foot baths. So could you tell me about your foot baths?
So the foot baths, and again, there's tons of information out there that says it's shade tree stuff, but again...
what do you mean shade tree?
Shade tree, like there's shade tree mechanics, like you don't take your car to a shade tree mechanic,
Oh, okay.
versus a mechanic with a sign.
Right.
There's a lot of information that it's doesn't do anything, and there's information that it does. So that's up to you to decide.
Right, the proof is in the pudding. If you put your feet in and you feel better, do I understand it's supposed to kind of, it may...
Again, there's tons of information out on the line. People can make their own decision.
What do you call that?
I call it just a foot bath.
Foot bath?
Yeah.
But it must be a special kind, though, because if you just look up foot bath.
I've had them actually made for me.
Okay. Is it a detoxing? What they call it, detoxing?
They do. There's tons of information again.
Detoxing. I won't make a note of that.
About,
detoxing foot bath.
It's making a lot of hydrogen, so it's a hydrogen-rich environment.
Okay.
And then we put clay in it from Crater Lake, which is a high silica clay, which and it's just very lovely to soak in hot water and then have your feet gently
Sounds good to
washed
me.
off. Like Jesus.
After a full day on my feet,
Jesus gave it the example, wash the feet. That's what I do. I wash feet.
You wash the feet.
I wash feet.
The man in here had a smile on his face when you were doing it. And then over behind me, there was a lady on a bed, and there's some kind of strange thing hanging above her.
That's called the beam ray, and that's what we started out
That's
with.
the beamer?
With Chelsea, beam ray.
Oh, beam
There's
ray.
a beamer.
Oh,
beamer is
beam ray.
the
Okay, beam.
mat, and I would
Beam
love to
ray.
have one again. I don't have one right now, but it will. It's on my list.
Okay. We won't take a picture of that then.
Yes.
But the beam ray we can.
The beam ray, and then below, underneath, is the biomat. Which
Biomat.
Is far infrared energy with crystals, and it has a lot of information you can find again online. All of this stuff is researchable for anyone to decide whether or not it's good for them, and they can ask their doctor.
Yeah, right.
I am not.
Don't worry, we'll put a disclaimer before we run this. But these are just things that you have here that people can judge for themselves.
That's
and I heard you mention some things that I'm kind of fascinated with. Infrared. I used an infrared machine called the Photon Genius.
Yes.
Yes, build up my immune system and produce nitric oxide.
Yes.
And I interviewed Jody Graham, who owns it. And
yes.
Fantastic thing.
That would be a machine I would love to have, but again, I'm limited on my stuff.
Right. And
stuff I do have.
It's a big machine.
It does kind of that, but not. Mine's pieced together.
Yes, yeah, a little of this and that. And then you mentioned crystals, and I know I'm going to do an interview eventually on crystals. Crystals are another that give off a vibration and that have properties that can help people,
Yes.
So crystals. Am I missing any? You have some other things here. There's a lady behind me, and she was doing something, and I can't.
Yes.
She had a wand or something, a magic wand?
Well, it's similar to this. It's just another type of machine that you just like. There's a VW out there. There's a Toyota. There's a Nissan. I have various manufacturers of these machines.
And are they all different vibrations for different reasons, to help with different ailments or health problems?
I think what we're really doing is bringing the body back into balance. When we have something go wrong, we're out of balance. We're like a fine-tuned instrument playing our guitar really bad, or playing, a bad-tuned instrument. And when our body's in tune, disease falls away. It's not needed anymore. So I believe that
yes, you need
what's not needed falls away.
Right. And when we talk about balance too, now it's not just your physical body. So these work well because we're basically an energy body, and we're electric. And so these frequencies help the energy as well as the physical part. And if you're feeling good, then your spirit feels good.
Yes.
So you've got your body, mind, spirit covered.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's really pretty. You've got it.
So this place was called Chelsea Sanctuary, and you told us the wonderful story about your lovely daughter. And then you changed it to Seahorse Cove. How'd you come up with Seahorse Cove?
Well, it's just a change up. It just needed a new, fresh face. Just needed.
It sounds beautiful to me.
Yeah, I didn't want it to be about Chelsea. I wanted it to be about everyone. And when you find a seahorse in a harbor, you're in a safe place.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
It's a very magical seahorse.
They're just beautiful little creatures, aren't they?
They have such an amazing. Just research about a seahorse.
I will. You've been doing a lot of research, I can tell.
I was very specific about that.
Yeah, so I could talk to you forever, and we want to take a look at some of your equipment here. But first, do you want me to say that where you are, or do we not want to say where we're located? I know you get so many people coming in.
I'd rather be attracting those that want to start this kind of place and help others.
You're more of an educational.
Kind
of. People on.
Yes, I'm not here to make vast amounts of money or do.
No, I want to point that out. I want to say what's so wonderful about Elizabeth is she's by donation only. I mean, sometimes somebody finds a wonderful thing that can help a child or a person, and yet you can't afford it. I think you're just doing such wonderful work here, and for you to open your heart and help people without even asking for anything back in return. Well, I hope she gets it back. You hear this from me. I hope you get it back. Thank you, Elizabeth, so much.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure to talk with you. She's not looking for more customers, but if you want to come in and share some of her ideas and some of the work she's doing, I know she'd be happy to help you and steer you in the right path. Thank you for watching Pauline Interviews.